Every year, many thousands of people receive the gift of life, a life-saving transplant of a heart, kidney, liver, lungs, pancreas, or intestines. Thousands more people receive corneas and other tissues that restores sight and health. Transplantation is one of the great medical advances of our time. How does it work? It all starts when someone's organ begins to fail. That person will need a transplant to survive. A thorough evaluation is conducted at a transplant center. And if the person is a good candidate for the transplant, he or she will be put on the National Transplant System of waiting list. Once a person is on the waiting list, the wait for an organ begins. A national system matches people on the waiting list with donors. The factors considered in matching donors and recipients include blood type and body size, how sick the patient is, distance from the donor, tissue type, and length of time on the waiting list. What doesn't get taken into account, organs are never matched based on race or gender. Income, celebrity, and social status are never considered in matching donor organs to waiting recipients. There is no telling how long the waiting takes. In fact, some people don't receive an organ in time because the waiting list is very long. There are not enough donors available. That's why an average of 18 people on the waiting list die every day. Most organs of transplants come from deceased donors. Here's how that happens. A person comes to the hospital with a life-threatening brain injury, such as from an accident, a stroke, or lack of oxygen. The doctors work hard to save the patient's life, but sometimes nothing can be done. There is a complete irreversible loss of brain function. The patient is clinically and legally dead. That's when being a donor can turn a time of loss into a time of hope. Because machines have kept blood containing oxygen flowing to the organs, they can be passed along. One person can give life to as many as 8 people through organ donation and enhance the life of 50 people or more through iron tissue donation. But now minutes matter. Matches must be found and transplants must happen quickly.
We are a family of 6 children, 2 girls, 4 boys. The youngest, my brother Ahmed, is the oldest. Our father died when we were young. He took care of us because of our father's death. He was 32 years old when he started to feel pain in his abdominal area. He went to Sheikh Zayed Military Hospital in Abu Dhabi to get some tests, and unfortunately he was suffering from polycystic kidney disease, which is a genetic disease. His wife was a kind and honest woman that couldn't give him children, yet he stuck with her. We asked help from the other parts of the family, but the most shocking thing that happened was the reaction of the other siblings. They all rejected to help. My mom begged to donate, but she had already 1 kidney left still working. The other one stopped working a long time ago, right after the death of my father. He never ever let her donate. My other siblings' excuse was that they all had families to take care of, and their families depend on them, so they couldn't risk losing a kidney or threatening their life for anyone. He wouldn't talk anyways, or discuss anything, or beg anyone. He had great dignity. It got hopeless. Nobody wanted to help. So eventually we decided to travel to Egypt. At that time, UAE healthcare centers and hospitals didn't have the ability of doing a transplantation surgery. It's still a hard procedure يعني, So anyways, we went to Madia military hospital in Cairo. His wife and I checked again to see if we were a match or not, just to make sure. But sadly, we weren't. His wife wrote down my brother's name and a waiting list for donors. We were like, who knows, maybe we find a donor that matches one day. Hopefully. We came back to the UAE. We waited 40 years just for a call that would have saved my brother's life. He didn't seem to care much though. He tried to always hang out with his friends or visit family or play with the neighbors' kids. No, he didn't seem to worry much. But you can see the tiredness, through his eyes, it can be seen. We had mixed emotions. Anger towards the other part of the family who didn't want to help, and sadness towards the situation overall. The struggle of kidney dialysis that he had to go through every couple of days was real. We both knew how painful it was, but he didn't show it. After years of waiting, we have finally found a donor that was a match. We fixed a date for the operation and everything right away. In a hospital, I'd rather not mention the name of it. The day after that, the same hospital called and said that they have to go through some data and documents before the operation. They said it won't take more than a week, just for the sake of security. They'd have to do it, I guess. A week passed by and no calls were returned. We called them and they said they'd have to postpone the operation for 2 more weeks because of some data errors in the documents. I don't know, documents validity or something. So anyways, we agreed. Didn't have any other choice. He still had to go through the kidney dialysis until then. His body was getting really weak. He eventually got weaker and weaker. You could tell he was exhausted from his face, his hands and his eyes, yet he kept silent. A week passed by, then the second came by. He had only 1 more week to go through until his operation, but sadly his body couldn't take it anymore. His pressure got really high, and unfortunately he passed away. He passed away while he was having his kidney dialysis done. He passed right before his operation, right before the hope that we were waiting for years now. We couldn't make it. His wife and my mother and I couldn't believe the news at all. We all refused to believe. His wife collapsed and cried all day, all night. We all got scarred really deep when we lost him. We all know he's in a better place now. We all miss him very much. In these kinds of situations, you can't just point fingers on anyone to blame. At the end, whatever God has written will happen. Allah yarhamah.
مع الأستاذة ريم صالح مهدي، محامية ومستشارة قانونية في جمعية الإمارات للمحامين والقانونيين، وأيضا عضو في فريق نشر ثقافة حقوق الإنسان. في البداية إذا بنتكلم عن زراعة الأعضاء البشرية، بنتكلم عن الأسباب المبررات اللي جعلت طبعا زراعة الأعضاء البشرية أمر مباح طبعا في المجتمع.
المبررات طبعا أكيد لا شك أن أغلى أموال الإنسان هي حياته. فسواء في الشريعة الإسلامية أهم الأشياء اللي صونها الشريعة، مثلا شريعتنا هو النفس. بعدين على المعايير الدولية والقوانين والدساتير كلها هذه تكفل طبعا حياة الإنسان. فلما يوصل مرحلة الإنسان أن عنده عضو تالف أو أنه خلاص متوقف، مثل الكلى خلينا على فرض، فلا بد أن نحن نوفر له هالشيء. طبعا وفق القوانين، كل شيء كله محدد في إطار قانوني علشان نحن نعطيه أمل في الحياة، يعني
لإنقاذ حياة الآخرين،
إنقاذ حياته. أكيد أكيد.
So transplantation programs typically occur in academic medical centers where there is a large volume of complicated surgeries and procedures occurring, very many patients being treated, and we have some of the most highly skilled people in the world delivering the care. Transplantation sits at the top of a very broad base, meaning it is the pinnacle of what we do. You train for many, many years as a surgeon, as a medical doctor, and as a nurse to be able to get the privilege to do transplantation. And that's why this is so special, because the conditions have never existed in the UAE for us to be able to identify the patients who need their failing organs replaced, whether it is lung or heart or liver or kidney, to bring them into hospital and get them prepared for transplantation, to be able to match their blood type to ensure that once a donor becomes available that we can obtain the perfect match, and then be able to fly the organs in within the minute, within the hours. We're counting to the second when we can put the new organ in and have it come to life.
المركز الرسمي للإفتاء بدولة الإمارات العربية المتحدة يرحب بكم.
ما حكم نقل الأعضاء؟
فيه تفصيلات يعني كثيرة. قد يكون الإنسان يوصي بذلك مثلا بعد موته، مثلا إذا كان ليس فيه ضرر أو شيء من هذا القبيل وينتفع به آخرون، في بعض التفصيلات. أما أن يتبرع الإنسان حال حياته، فالإنسان أعضاء ليست ملكا له، لا يجوز له أن يتصرف فيها إلا ما كان فيه إنقاذ نفس أخرى أيضا مثل الكلى، ويكون الإنسان بعد ذلك يعيش يعني صحيحا سويا، وفي نفس الوقت ينقذ نفسا أخرى.